On its face, this case doesn't make much sense. The victim fired the gun. The victim died from a single self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Yet the state has charged her boyfriend with the crime? To make it all make sense, we'll have to work backwards from the docket. Today's case comes out of Oakland Park, Florida, home to just under 50,000 residents, sometimes called the Brooklyn of Broward County due to its progressive and pulsating personality. Now, this case raises a curious question. If the victim pulls the trigger, how does another person become charged with manslaughter? To answer that, we reviewed the court records and charging documents to take us through what happened on that fateful day. It was just another lazy Saturday afternoon, shortly after the turning of the new year, when a single gunshot pierced the atmosphere, trailed by screams of distress. Miguel Hernandez was the man screaming. The victim was his girlfriend. The charge filed, manslaughter with a firearm. At first glance, the charge was surprising, but like with so many criminal cases, the legal question isn't always as simple as who pulled the trigger. According to court records, Hernandez told police the victim, whose brother had ended his own life 2 years prior, had a history of making similar life-ending threats, which he would often dismiss as empty or hollow. And like many relationships, theirs had highs and lows and was peppered with arguments. Just a week before the incident, Hernandez was able to disarm her after she reportedly grabbed a gun during one of their many arguments. Hernandez told police that on the day of the incident, he had gone to the store, bringing the handgun with him. When he returned to the home that he shared with her and his parents, he placed the gun on the bed. In the brief moments it took for him to grab a drink from the fridge and come back to the bedroom, she had taken the gun, put it to her head, and started ruminating over her deceased brother. She started asking Hernandez if he thought she would do it. And doing as he had done before, he sat there, quietly dismissing her threats of self-harm. But this threat was not an empty one as had been in times past. This time it was real, because seconds after asking him if he thought she would do it, she did it, just a few feet away from where he was sitting. Now, he subsequently gave law enforcement consent to collect evidence consisting of the firearm and 2 cell phones, one of which contained surveillance footage from inside the bedroom. Sounds like an open and shut case of suicide. But the ongoing investigation revealed something else. Something Hernandez left out of his initial interview with detectives, but would be shown by the surveillance footage from that little black cell phone. But would it actually help the state prove the elements of the charge it filed? Would it support the theory that Hernandez was criminally responsible for her death? Maybe. Surveillance footage showed that Hernandez did re-enter the bedroom as he had stated, but what the surveillance footage also showed was that the victim did not take the gun from the bed. It showed Hernandez taking the gun, racking the side, and handing it to her, repeatedly egging her on to, "Go ahead and do it, pussy." 60 seconds later, she did. And that's when Hernandez began screaming for his mother to call 911. And the victim was still alive when first responders arrived. She was immediately transported to a local area hospital where she would later succumb to her injury. After a follow-up interview with detectives, Hernandez finally admitted to calling her bluff, telling investigators he never thought she would do it, framing the shooting as an accident. Hernandez was arrested and booked at the local jail. Soon after, the state filed a motion for pretrial detention, as he had already been on an ankle monitor for another case at the time of this incident. The court denied the state's motion, and Hernandez was free to go home once he met the $75,000 bond conditions, which he did, and was again placed on an ankle monitor. The case status is active, with another hearing on the docket for July. The picture that emerged from the surveillance footage was that of a man who did not take self-harm seriously. And on January 24th, 2026, that cycle of inaction had run its full course.